We know what you've come for, and now we're going to give it to you. You're listening to the No Such Thing podcast.
I don't know what that is. What in the world is that?
These are days when the grind of the time kept the world in a strange state of captivity. When the words of the Lord and the whips of the rich lashed down so heavily on me. The time calls for changes. A change will save us all. My name is Revolution. To others, it's carvings and all.
John, we are live. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad at all. And I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's a real pleasure to have you. And just a bit of background noise there. I don't know what that was.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my garage door.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, sorry.
again, it's a real pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yes, no problem.
So you were John Bailey, and you are the owner of you're the producer of the Iceman series on YouTube, and that's how I got to hear about you. I just saw a video come up one day from Dixie Cryptid, and it was entitled "Bigfoot Roared at Me." So immediately I'm like, it caught my attention because I saw that you were a hunter as well. And when hunters come forward and share an experience, my ears perk up,
Right.
And so I played it, and I watched your first video, and then I found out more about you, watched your show, and realized that you've quite a history with hunting. And do you want to go back to the very, very start, John? I mean, way back. I mean, like, were you always a Bigfoot believer, or is this just a new thing?
Well, no. When we were kids, my two cousins, I used to go in the country and spend the summers with my cousins back when I think I was like 10. And we went to the movies and saw the Bigfoot movie, and anything that would come up on like National Geographic or anything like that back then, we would watch it because for some reason we just was fascinated with something that we didn't even really believe in, but being a child, it just catches your attention. So over the years, I would actually just, I read a clip, I would just look at certain shows that had, like Monster Quest, I would look at that. That I don't know how new that is, but just different things over the years, I would pick up tidbits and just read it and just keep on moving. But never experienced anything, any type of wood knocks or screams or footprints or hair samples that a lot of people say they claim to have, and just anything out of the ordinary until 1999.
Okay, do you want to walk us into that encounter?
And that was, I'm sorry?
Do you want to walk us into that first time, the first time running
Yes,
you had?
yes. Yes, okay. I was actually invited to go on a wild boar hunt in South Carolina, and I cannot remember the actual small town, but it was off of Interstate 95, and this was at Black Creek Plantation. And I'm actually hunting on a I think it's like on the edge of the Francis Marion National Forest. So the outfitter, he took me back on Argo, which was, we went we drove like at least 4 miles. It just felt like 4 miles because I was actually the last hunter to get put off of off the Argo. So I'm off the Argo, got settled in the stand, and everything is just quiet. And I never thought about it because I've heard people say that when these giants are around, things just get silent. So I'm thinking, man, it's awful quiet back here. I'm back here by myself. So when I turned around and looked at the Argo going out of sight, and then when he finally got to the point where I couldn't hear him, I heard like 3 wood knocks behind me, and then a just crazy scream. And for that scream to be like that, the hair on my neck just stood up. I mean, it just shook me to the bone. And I had no idea how far he was, but I'm just assuming a possibility of 500 yards from me. And then it wasn't 5 seconds later. It was another scream behind me, but it was over to my left, off my left shoulder. First time was my right shoulder. Second time was off to my left shoulder, like 5 seconds later. Then I heard a guy. He said, "Oh man, that's the same Bigfoot." I said, "There's no way that a Bigfoot can run 1,000 yards or whatever the case may be in 5 seconds." I said, I just don't believe that. I just believe it was 2. So it's the same wood knocks and the same scream. So I'm sitting there in the stand. I turned around quite nicely because that's just instinct. And I'm thinking, okay, I got my 454 Super Red Hawk in my lap, but I'm glad I had some Super Penetrator hot loads that I had. But I was like, well, maybe these penetrators will help me. But I wasn't even thinking about that. All I'm thinking is something huge is going to walk out on the other side of this small food plot and just jump on me. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking, oh, something's going to grab me from the behind up in my stand. Something's going to pull me off my stand. I mean, everything's just going through my mind. So I hear water splashing a little bit, but not real bad. And I'm turning around constantly looking. And this went on, like I said, I was sitting up there for 5 hours. So I'm thinking, oh, man, this is just going to be, this might end up bad here. I don't know. I'm thinking the whole family's going to come out and challenge me. And then I heard people talk about where if you shoot a hog, then the Bigfoots are pretty much saying, okay, I'm doing the wood knocks and the scream because I'm letting you know, okay, somebody's possibly getting ready to shoot. I'm going to go in and steal the pig and whatever. But that was a really, really awful 5-hour sit by myself, about 4 miles in the swamp. And the crazy thing about the whole thing was the hunter that got put off before me, when I got back to, or should I say when Argo came and picked me up, he had picked him up first. And I asked him when we got back to the cabin, I said, did you hear anything scream? And he said, no. I'm thinking, how could he not hear that? Some people, I guess, they're tone deaf too, but I'm thinking, I can't believe he didn't hear that because that sound actually came from his direction. But that was my first encounter, and I'm gonna tell you, man, that done something to me. It really done something to me, and I could still hear them screams in my head. And I've heard people say when you have your first encounter, you'll never forget it, and you'll never be the same. And that's exactly right.
Now, what did the scream sound like?
Oh man, that Bigfoot roared at me sound. It was higher pitched than that. It was like, I mean, it sounded like a woman, but it was like 10 times magnified than that.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
It was like a scream. It was like a high-pitched scream. A high-pitched scream with a growl mixed with it. That's what it sounded like. But it was, like I said, I've been bow hunting for 36 years, and I have never heard anything in the woods. I mean, first of all, even the wood knocks. I'm thinking, okay, why would somebody be 4 miles in the swamp with a bat hitting a tree? And no man can scream that loud, or no woman can scream that loud. I mean, not even a cougar, bobcat, mountain lion can scream that loud. So it was just, it was awful. It was like I said, nothing that's ordinary will frighten me while I'm in the woods. I've heard everything. But when something's out of the ordinary and it scares me, it's something wrong.
Well, those wood knocks, John. I mean, I've heard people talk about them, and it sounds like almost like those metal bats. You know the metal ones that you get hitting a tree, and you get that clang off it. Like that's not rotting wood hitting a tree. That's a hard piece of wood.
No, it was a green. It definitely was a green wood. It wasn't. It didn't sound like a metal bat. It sounded like a Louisville slugger hitting a tree. That's what it sounds like. Something just really fresh. That something broke off and just hit the tree with it. That's what it sounds like. A Louisville sluggers to that effect.
And then you got out of there. The guys came back for you in the ATV.
Oh, I didn't get out of there till 5 hours later.
Man.
because I wasn't going to get down and walk 4 miles on that gravel road because I did not know I was going to get. I didn't know if I was going to get ambushed or not. So I said to myself, I'm just going to stand my ground and hope and pray that I'm safe until they come and get me. But like I said, that was the worst unnerving hunt I've ever had. Being by yourself in the swamp.
Now, your mind immediately went to Bigfoot, though.
It did, because I watched Monster Quest 2 days before, and those guys were talking about, matter of fact, they demonstrated the wooden knocks and they demonstrated the screams. That's what really got my attention, but for an instant, I thought it was them back there for an instant. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, these guys can't be back here with all these water moccasins, and it's just wet, there's water everywhere. I'm thinking, no, it can't be them. Can't be.
Yeah. It's funny when you hear people talking about, well, that's a guy in a suit. Well, a guy in a suit's not going to be running through the swamp with water moccasins and crocodiles and whatever else you have. I mean, or could get shot by a hunter. I mean,
exactly.
That's a big risk to take.
Because I just talked to the outfitter before we went back there, and he told me last week they ran across an 11-foot gator stretched across the gravel road. So I'm thinking, okay, we got gators in here, so why would somebody be back here to potentially be a meal for something? No,
okay.
that definitely wasn't no man.
No, and then you had another encounter. What year was your next encounter?
My next encounter was, I was it 3 years ago. It was in April 3 years ago, and I was off of Highway 16 around exit. It was exit. I was off of exit 12 on Highway 16 south of Macon, where I went hog hunting again, and it was a night hunt, and the other one wasn't a night hunt, but this one was. And I got set up. I walked about 400 miles because I left my ATV at the house, so I walked about 400 yards to my stand, got set up, didn't think nothing about Bigfoot, but I'm like, okay, I want to enjoy myself, so I got set up in the stand around 7:30. A couple of hogs came in. I ended up taking one, got down, and was on my way back to get my truck. So by the time I got to my truck, it was dark. I mean, it was really dark, and got set up, and then I ended up getting stuck. So come to find out, I called the owner, and he couldn't come and get me, so he sent another person to come and get me, and he showed up with a wreck truck, but it was like a little small indentation or a little small dip in the road that held water. So he told me, no, I can't go through there, because it was like 2 feet deep. He's like, no, I can't go through there, so I might get stuck. So another guy showed up, but he didn't show up until like 10:15. So I'm sitting in my truck in the dark from 9 to 10, and I'm thinking, oh, man. And Bigfoot came across my mind again, but I'm thinking, dang, I can't get these things out of my head when it gets dark. It's like I'm just assuming that something might show up. I don't know. So I just turned my headlights on every 5 minutes just to check in front of me, and I had my window cracked. So I started hearing crickets and the frogs and everything like that. Then all of a sudden I heard a whistle. I'm thinking, oh, man. Then my hair stood up on my neck then. I was talking to somebody else, and they said that these Bigfoots, they like to whistle. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I said, here we go again. So I'm panning. I had my AR-15 with my night vision scope. So I was like, you know what? I got to check something. So I opened the door up, turned the scope on, and I did like a 360, just panning around, seeing if I see eye shine or anything. Didn't see anything. So I was like, man. So I got back in the truck, whistled again. I was like, wait a minute. But it was loud. It was a loud whistle. I'm thinking, okay, it's like 9:10. Why would a bird whistle this time of night? And I'm trying to rationalize, okay, what could be doing this time of night? And got back in the truck again. Whistled again. I'm thinking, okay. So I got back out again and did another 360. Nothing. Like I said, it whistled. This went on for like 7 different times. And I'm thinking, you know what? They may be going back there stealing my pig. That's what I'm thinking. So the guy ended up showing up about 10:15, and I didn't even tell him what I heard. I just was trying to get the pig so I can get out of there. So he finally ended up getting my truck out of the hole, because my truck's like 8,000 pounds. My stuff, the trucks I be driving are real heavy. And he ended up pulling his bumper off and all kinds of crazy stuff. But it was an awful, awful situation. And we ended up getting the pig, and I was so frustrated with the whole ordeal, I gave him the pig. I was like, you know what, I'm just ready to go home. I'm done with this. But I kind of felt like something was watching me, but I wasn't sure, because, like I said, it just felt really eerie back there. And I was just wondering what was going on, because even the frogs and the crickets and everything, they didn't completely shut up, but they died. Everything just died down for like 10 minutes, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? So, but that's the second strange, very strange, for like a loud whistle to happen like 7 times. I mean, louder than a man, definitely louder than a man. And it wasn't no flashlights out there. It wasn't nothing. It was just dark. And the whistles were close.
Yeah, down there, is it like Texas, where you can just shoot hogs as much as you want, or do they have?
Yes,
you can.
Yes.
And you could actually use rifles, because up in Massachusetts here, you can only use. There's no like rifle hunting allowed. It's only bow hunting and stuff.
Yes, yeah, you can use AR-15s, whatever you want to use is safe with night vision, because you can hunt pigs 12 months out of a year, and you can hunt them all night long.
Yeah, and you can't you can't let them get too close, because they're dangerous. So you gotta take them out at a distance, right?
Well, it depends on your setup. I was setting up in the tree stand that day, but we do hunt sometime on the ground. We just get up against a tree, and sometimes they'll bait them. The guys will bait them, and we'll come in, and we'll be 100 yards away from the bait, or 50 yards away from the bait, or 200 yards away. It just depends on the setup, and we just wait for them to come in. Because actually, in a sense, we're helping farmers, because a lot of these pigs are destroying the crop. So we just pay the farmer, and in some cases, the farmer say, "You don't have to pay me nothing, because you guys are helping us out." Yeah. And we just stand them out for them, and then we feed the neighboring property, the hogs, and just kind of help out everybody. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah. Now, and you've been hunting, like you said, for 37 years. So this is your second encounter, and that's only like 3 years ago.
Yes.
You think you had more encounters, but you just didn't realize it? You know what I mean?
It's possible. It's possible, but I try not to go in the woods and think about that. With my wife, she'll say, I've been walking in the woods ever since I was like 10, 12 years old by myself, and I think I just become accustomed and or whatever the case may be towards any situation that I'm in. But I've been mostly bow hunting by myself for 36 years, and I've never really had anything. Well, let me back up. What am I trying to say here? Well, getting back to what you were saying, I may have had encounters. I may have even seen some things, but I try not to take my mind there all the time, because if I get too deep into it when I go in the woods, especially I like to go in the woods if I'm hunting, I get in there before sunup. I don't want to be so deep into it where I'm just afraid to go in the woods.
Yeah, you'll get spooked.
Exactly.
So very shortly, or very recently, I played the video at the start of this video. I have the audio clip of that thing screaming at you, and that's how I found you. This thing is screaming at you from like half a mile or something. Do you want to take us into that whole encounter? Because that's crazy.
Yes, I'm going to start off before the actual happened.
Mm-hmm.
this was Wednesday before that Saturday. And I got in the woods, and I decided to take a drive across the creek. And I don't hunt across the creek that much on the track because I hunt a 250-acre track by myself when it comes to turkey season. So I went across the creek just scouting and looking around. And I drove my four-wheeler across the creek and just got off of it and just started walking. And I even took the four-wheeler back across the creek on the side that I normally hunt, and I walked back across the creek again. But this particular time, I walked everywhere. I think I walked like 6 miles that day, just scouting. So I really believe that's when this all started, because I want to say it may be 10 years of me going across that creek. Every time I go across the creek, I don't hear nothing. I don't hear anything. But it never dawned on me that I heard that these giants, when they're actually in the area, everything shuts down. Everything shuts up. I never even thought about nothing like that. So I was talking to a guy. He said, you know what, these things have been watching you for a long time. And I never thought about that. I said to myself, you know what, going back 10 years of me walking across the other side of the creek, it's quiet over there. And then when I go back on my side, birds and everything start chirping again. I'm thinking, so something must have been really watching me, caught my scent, and I guess they say, okay, there's John, or whatever. But going back to that Wednesday before the Saturday, I went across the creek, and I got set up, and I'm just scouting and everything, and I found a really nice spot. So I finally went back to the four-wheeler, got the four-wheeler, and I had to go back across the creek because I was trying to get to a spot where I couldn't walk up the hill. So I got up the hill with the four-wheeler and got off and just was glassing, looking around, and I cut everything off, and all of a sudden I heard a scream. It was actually, I was already across the creek. It was a scream like behind me, and it sounded like the one back in 1999. And I'm thinking, okay, it was a long distance, though. It might have been 2 miles or something, but I heard it. I heard it like 4 or 5 times. And I'm thinking, I don't know what that is, but I just put it in the back of my mind, and I kept on scouting and looking. So I finally went back to my truck, and I was getting ready to go home for the day. And the whole path was clear, because I had like 3 miles of dirt path that the owner had cut out for us hunters. So I went back to the truck, got set up, put everything up, came home. So Saturday morning, I'll go back down there again. And so this was a roar. This one, I had that roar encounter. So got down there Saturday morning, cut the truck off in the same spot that I parked before. So I didn't even start my four-wheeler up. I just rolled it off the trailer. And as soon as I rode it off the trailer and was just headed back to the truck to put my clothes on and get my turkey gun and everything out, I heard that roar. I'm thinking, okay, it sounded like a T-Rex, because the video that I actually uploaded is like no comparison to the actual volume and the actual lung capacity of this thing had. And I'm thinking, okay, something is not right here. And I said, what in the world is that? And I stood there, and I almost started shaking. I was like, no, I ain't going to shake. I'm just going to try to video this thing and try to video the sound at least. I know I wasn't going to be able to see it, but my thing was, I was asking myself, okay, is this thing going to get closer? If it's going to get closer, I'm just going to get in the truck and leave. So it stayed in that particular area, and I'm recording this thing, I think like 2 minutes and something, and then I cut it off. And after I cut it off, it still was doing it. It still was roaring. And I was like, and it sounded like more than one or something, I don't know. But I said to myself, okay, is this somebody with a megaphone? Is this somebody doing a movie? Or what? So I'm sitting there. I'm standing there just trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? And because I was going across the creek to get my camera. And I'm walking back and forth trying to figure out, okay, what are you going to do about this? Because, I mean, I got to the point where I felt like I was a kindergarten. I felt like I was in 5 years old again, because I was just straight intimidated by whatever made that sound. So I finally got my nerve up, got on my four-wheeler, and started inching towards that sound. And every 50 feet to maybe 75 feet, I would stop, cut it off, and listen. I didn't hear anything, so I started to back up and proceeded. So I finally got up to the creek, cut it off again, to listen, nothing. I got something else I want to add also after this. So I finally got across the creek, and I go to this one bend that's a left that you have to take. I took the left and went down to the next bend, which has to take the right. That's where the sound was coming from, in that area. So when I made that right, and there's a deer stand to my left from one of the other hunters that hunt, I kind of focused on something that just didn't look right. And I seen 2 trees laying down in the road. And I'm thinking, what in the world? And that's when I heard that they do tree breaks. And I said, wait a minute, this ain't right here, because one tree was broke off about 8 feet on the right, and the tree on the left was broke off about 6 feet, and both of them were hanging down into the road, and they both were just blocking the road. So I don't know where I get the courage from, but I decided to drive across the trees on my four-wheeler.
You went towards it.
I'm just gonna get I went towards it.
Oh boy!
And so I just drove over top of them, and kept on going. And I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and get my camera. But my head was definitely on the swivel. And I finally got my camera and went back to the tree break, and went across it again, and went back across the creek. And I hunted that day, but I hunted on the other side where I normally hunt at, closer to my truck. And around about 12 o'clock, I was set up closer to my truck. And to my left, I don't know, it might have been 5 miles, 3 miles away, I heard the thing scream again, or roar again. This was like 12 o'clock. I'm thinking, what in the world? Is this thing stalking me or something? Because it had moved, but it was to my left, and I was about, about a mile away from the tree break, closer to my truck. I'm thinking, okay, it's time to leave. So 12:30, I just packed up and left. But what I wanted to add, when I went back Tuesday to do the break, like I said, I didn't even realize those faces in the tree, or that face in that tree. I didn't even realize that thing was like 10, 15 feet away from me, looking at me when I was panning with my camera. But I heard guys say, if you got a good heart, they won't bother you. But I'm thinking, okay, every time I've been coming over here for the last 10 years, it'd be silent over here, and I'm walking and calling with my turkey calls and walking and calling. These things must smell me. They must know my scent. They must know I'm there. And this has been going on for 10 years, and I didn't even realize that. So apparently they know who I am. But this is another thing I wanted to add, something that was strange. When I was going to the tree break to film it, there was a tree in the creek, or right on the edge of the creek, that I would always have to go under just to get to the other side, bend down. Do you know that tree was uprooted when I went back to do the tree break video that Tuesday?
Wow.
And the tree was there. The tree was there Saturday. But when I went back Tuesday to do it, the tree was gone. So I'm thinking, why is it so clear out here? That tree was uprooted. It was picked up and moved. That's weird, man. That's weird. It's almost like I'm trying not to go deep into this paranormal or Bigfoot situation, but some people go real deep. I try not to go too deep in it, but I'm just thinking, what if they moved it just to make me comfortable?
Yeah. Now, you don't think that were there any storms in the days preceding that?
No. Well, the tree was gone.
Oh wow.
It didn't blow down. The tree was picked up, and it was like, I don't know, tossed in the woods. I don't know what it was. I mean, the tree was, I want to say, 12 feet tall, but it had a nice round base to it. The base was about, I guess if you put a tape on it, it might have been 18 inches, 20 inches in diameter. But it was picked up and moved. I seen the hole there, but the sand had kind of pushed in a little bit. But I'm thinking, where's the tree go? Because I always have to duck under this tree to go up on the other side of the creek, but the tree was missing.
Huh.
And I thought that to myself. I said, maybe they watch me go across this creek and they see I had to get up and bend underneath this tree, and maybe they're actually helping me. It just, I don't know. Some people might say this guy's a Fruit Loop, but it was kind of weird on where did the tree go?
Well, it's funny because I spoke to Troy Hudson last week. I don't know if you listened to that or if you know who Troy Hudson is, but he's the founder of the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization, and he said that, you know, most Bigfoots are benevolent, but you get bad ones, just like humans. And he said that what he tells people that when they're hunting a property that Bigfoot's on is you kill one and leave one. Now, I know that's not always possible, you know, to have two animals to kill at once, but that's always his advice. And maybe these things are benevolent. It's kind of unnerving that they're watching you, but it's also comforting that they might be okay with you if they're watching you for so long.
Yeah, because like I said, I've heard guys say if they know that you have a good heart, good spirit, and you really don't mean them any harm, then means they're not going to bother you. That's what he said, but I'm thinking, okay, when I actually froze that frame from my video to the right of that tree break about 10 feet or 2 feet above, should I say 2 feet above that 8-foot break, that looked like a face.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely, I could kind of point out a nose. I couldn't see any eyes, but I definitely could distinguish a nose and in that particular frame. And then, like I said, when I panned back to it, it wasn't there. And then also I added on my video, I actually heard real heavy footsteps running away from that particular spot. I heard like maybe 7 loud thumping footsteps, and it definitely was bipedal. But when you're scared, well, I guess I can say I was a little bit scared because I'm human, and it didn't really register that that's what I was hearing until after I got home. Because if I had really been a little bit more comfortable, and that's why I guess I panned those trees so quick, because I was trying to get out of there. But if I was really a little bit more comfortable, I would have probably had said, I just heard something run, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know what I heard. I heard loud thumping bipedal footsteps. I don't know if it was walking fast or just trotting or something, but I heard like about 7 of them, just thump, 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 thump. I was like, wait a minute. I know what I heard.
Now, in that photograph you actually posted up, you could see something. You can see kind of a face, but underneath it you can see a black, like a body. You can see a black mass right below it. So there's definitely something there.
Okay. I'm gonna go back and study it again just to look and see what it is. But
yeah, there's blackness below it.
Okay. When I get my nerve up, I'm gonna take a basket of apples. And I'm going to take it back to the tree break, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to put no camera or anything over there because I don't want them to think that I'm trying to invade, because that's another form of invasion when you're putting cameras there, because I heard they don't like cameras. So, matter of fact, one of my helpers, because we have a heating and air conditioning company as well, one of my helpers, he said he wants to go back with me, so I may take him, I don't know. Because I heard those things, if they don't like everybody.
Right.
And they definitely don't like new people coming. So I might take him and just leave him on the other side of the creek and keep going, or I might just chance it and go.
Maybe bring a turkey and just leave it out there, you know?
Well, that's the problem. I don't have many turkeys left, and I'm thinking, where all my turkeys go? Maybe they done killed all the turkeys or ran them off or something. There's plenty of deer. But my turkey population has dropped since 2008. Since 2019, they have really dropped. But I really was concerned about that backside, because I know one time I went over there. This was about 6 or 7 years ago. There was a lot of trees just laying down in the road. I'm thinking, man, we had a bad storm back here. But still, when I went back there, it still was eerie, like something was strange, like I was being watched, but I still didn't think of Bigfoot or anything. I just felt eerie, like something was actually looking at me. But I'm thinking, why are all these trees laying out on this road like this? And then the owner ended up getting them cleared out by a bulldozer. And then, like I said, then this tree brick came back again Saturday.
Now,
after the scream.
if they're comfortable with you, though, I wonder why they were screaming. Maybe it was they weren't screaming at you. Maybe it was a domestic dispute. Who knows? But
yeah, looking back on it now, I don't think it was me, because if it was me, then they probably would have tried to hurt me when I went over there, because I'm over there now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was. Like I said, some people said it might have been mourning somebody. One of them might have died. Might have had babies. They might have been a territorial fight, dispute. They might have been posturing. I don't know, because I know how silverback gorillas, they posture and they holler and yell and throw things at each other or whatever according to their aggression.
now,
And I'm looking back on it now, I don't think they was yelling at me.
now everybody's heard. Well, when they hear this podcast, they'll hear the sound at the very start. Now, you've hunted in Africa as well, so you've heard lions and stuff, and it doesn't sound like anything like that.
Oh, no. I mean, a lion, he just has his own roar, and it's just roar. I mean, I know what a lion sounds like. I know what a leopard sounds like. I know what a cougar sounds like. I even know what a cheetah sounds like. But it definitely wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, I scoured.
Because go ahead.
No, I scoured the internet to try to find a match, and I couldn't find a match for that sound that you heard.
Yeah, because the thing about it, a lion, first of all, only reason why I know it had to been something other than me hearing the footsteps, because I put all of the puzzles together, and I'm thinking, okay, it had to have been a Bigfoot, because first of all, a lion's not going to get up and break a tree 8 feet off the ground, and he's not going to get up and break a tree 6 feet off the ground, and they're definitely not going to be parallel. They're not going to be laying down in the road like a railroad track arm that's coming down. They're not going to be doing that.
I wonder if maybe, this is just a theory, maybe if, like you say, there was a birth or there was some kind of territorial dispute, maybe they wanted to keep you out temporarily until that was over. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's possible.
It could be something like that.
Possible. It's definitely possible. Saying, stay back, don't come back here, we got a problem.
Yeah.
It's possible. Anything, like I say, anything's possible. First of all, I wish I could understand what they were saying, because if they had to say, go home, John, I would have just packed up and left. But I don't know. But I believe you. I believe you're right. I don't think they were roaring at me, because if they were, I might not be talking to you on the phone.
You said something about a glove as well. You lost a glove back there?
Yes, I lost my glove that Wednesday, and that's what I thought about it when I got out of the truck. I'm thinking, I lost my glove over there. Then I hear a roar. So I'm thinking, okay, they smelled me, although I really believe they've been smelling me for years, because, like I said, every time I go over there, it just be silent. There's nothing over there, just silent. And but yeah, I lost the glove, and I was asking myself, okay, if y'all found my glove, can you put it on a tree limb on the road so I can just grab it? But I ain't seen my glove yet.
Wow. Now, John, you're also a pastor. Now, this is another reason why I contacted you, because you've got a few things going for you. You're a hunter, you're ex-military, and you're a pastor. So there are three great ingredients for someone to tell a Bigfoot story, because you tend to listen to people that have integrity, you know. And
right.
Now, being a pastor and from a religious perspective, I mean, what the hell are these things? What do you think?
Well, like I said, this is my theory. I hear people talk about the Nephilim, but the Nephilim definitely is a fallen angel, where Lucifer got kicked out of heaven, and a third of the angels went with him, and then all of a sudden they end up turning into human-like and started mating with human women. And then all of a sudden these giants came about after they mated with the women, and they say some of them were hairy. But I'm thinking, okay, this all happened before the flood. But if you look at the scripture, I think it's Genesis 7:23, where it says, it says everybody and every creature on earth had died. It got drowned in the flood. They said all have got drowned. So I'm thinking, okay, the Bible says all. So I tell people, look at the key words. It says all. So if everything has died except Noah and his family, how can these creatures be, or should I say, how could they have survived the flood if the Bible says all? I base my opinion on what the scriptures say. I'm not going to go against it, because if it says what it says, I'm going to go with it, because I'm just saying it's accurate. It's a roadmap. So my thing is, and this is just a theory, I use a telescope, and I come outside at night every now and then, and I look up, and I'm thinking, okay, these aren't stars, these are planets. And everything that when you look up at night, if I could see a planet, that planet or whoever's on that planet can see this one. So I'm thinking it has to be something else out there other than us. Because why would God have all of these planets in the solar system and nothing else be out there but us? It has to be, because it's just too much stuff out there. So I'm thinking, okay, people say they see aliens. People say they see strange crafts at night, and they say these aliens, they'll come out with, or they'll come down, and they get near the car shuts off, and they don't have no powers, which, as my brother told me, when did he tell me this? He told me this last fall. He just now telling me. He said he had an encounter in Maryland. He was going home, and he said he seen a UFO. And he said that UFO, it was over top of a cornfield, because I've heard these UFOs get over top of cornfields, and they use the corn as energy or something. So he said his car cut off and everything. But getting to my point, I think these things were brought here. I really do, because sometimes people will have they'll go into a cave that's a real old cave, and they'll have like a UFO or alien sculpture, and then they have a real big type Bigfoot man or whatever carved into the rock, and then an alien next to him. Yeah. So I'm thinking they were brought here, because I'm speculating that on other planets they might be similar to a dog, or anything where that's a nuisance. So they said, you know what, we got to take you somewhere else because you're overpopulated here. I think they were dropped off here. I really do.
Yeah, I've heard some people saying that when they encountered Bigfoot, that one of the first things that they thought was they just don't belong here. You know? That's the feeling they get.
Yeah. Because I really believe there's there's other planets that's similar to this planet that has oxygen. And I do know, and I've studied where they say there is another planet that's real similar to Earth. It has water like this planet, and some people are supposed to be moving there. I don't know. But I believe there's other planets that's similar to this. That's why these things can breathe. But like I said, that's a theory. But I just don't think I just don't think these giants are Nephilims. I don't.
Right. Yeah. People say the way they move and stuff. I've heard people say when they move, it looks like, that stop motion that you see in like old movies. It's that they don't move like an animal should. It almost is like it glides, and it has mechanical motions, and it just doesn't sound like it. They evolved here. Is my point. It's strange.
Right. And I've also heard somebody else. They had said they encountered a Bigfoot, they encountered a Bigfoot. They actually seen it shaking trees and everything, and he'd made a strange clicking noise and some type of way. And they said also they ended up having a sore on them or something, or sores on them. And I'm thinking, man, that's kind of weird. But this was let's say Wednesday or Thursday. I think this was Thursday, because I went back to that tree break on last Tuesday. I had a bruise on my right tricep. It was red and kind of like itching, and then I had one on my leg, and it was facing the tree break to the right. I'm thinking, did something happen there? You know, why did I have this bruise on my arm?
That's weird.
Yeah, I was like, that's really weird. I know I didn't get bit by nothing, but I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm reading into it too much about the bruise thing, but I don't know. But I do know every time I go over there, it's just dead quiet on that side.
Now, do you have many plans? Do you have plans to go back there and you're still hunting there, obviously?
Well, yeah, I'm planning on going back there next year, but I'm not going to hunt on the other side of the creek anymore. But I'm really planning on taking them some apples this coming week. I'm planning on it, but I have to get my nerve up.
Yeah, put them up somewhere high so that deer and stuff can't get them, and maybe you're going to do a video and stuff on it.
I might do a video. No, I'm not going to do no videos. My wife will kill me. She I ain't worried about the Bigfoot. I'm worried about her. She said, don't you go over there no more. You crazy for going back to get your camera. You should have left that camera in the woods. Oh, I got laid out. I got a tongue lashing. Yeah, I do want to go over there and put some apples, but I'm not going to put them up high. I want to get a basket of apples and just put them in a basket and just put them on the ground. Because I don't want to wait. I don't want to spend a lot of time tying a rope to them, lifting them up. I don't want to do that. I just want to put them down on the ground, get back on the four-wheeler, and just ease on out of there. That's what I want to do. So I figure if I put them in a basket, I figured out, and I might go back in a week, in 7 days, after I put them down there, and just probably take some more.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned it, I think, on Dixie Cryptid. When you have one encounter, for some reason you'll have more encounters. It's almost like they follow you, or they're aware of your presence. I've heard that said before, so maybe that's what's happened with you. You've become aware of them, and I know it, so they're not so shy about showing themselves or making themselves be heard. Right.
But it was so weird because, like I said, standing at that break, and for something to be, and it looked, I'm not saying it had climbed the tree and looked at me, because I'm looking at the tree, and that tree's not that big. I'm thinking, how are they going to get up this tree to be so big? To me, it looked like it was standing there. And then all of a sudden, and when it snuck off away from me, if it was that, it had to have been something like that, because I heard the bipedal steps. But when it snuck away from that spot, I didn't hear a thing until after it got, I don't know, 40 yards, 30 yards into the brush, or should I say into the woods, and then all of a sudden I heard a thump, 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 thump.
So you have video of that black mass in the tree, and then when you pan back, it's gone?
It's gone, yeah, it was gone.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I just saw the black mass in the tree, and then I definitely seen something there. There's definitely a dark figure behind those trees. I didn't see the after shot.
Right. Yeah, the after shot is like where it says it's gone. And the next two, it's kind of blurry, because what I did, I took it with my, no, I didn't take it with my phone. Yes, I did. I actually took that with my phone. It was kind of blurry, because sometimes it gives like a feedback when you take your picture on your computer. It gives them kind of ripple feedback or something.
Right.
But I knew it was something, because, like I said, I put the roar with the tree brick, and I put the black mass face-looking structure with the feet, with the big thumping feet running. And I'm thinking something was just here, and it went the other way. And I kept listening to this sound, and I said to myself, I hope it's not running this way. I'm glad it's running the other way. It's almost like it knew I was going to come to the tree break, and that's where it met me at.
Yeah, these things seem to be have some kind of intelligence that we haven't caught up with yet. It's strange. It's very strange.
Yeah, real strange. But I don't know. I don't want nothing to come out into the path and shake my hand. I definitely don't want that. But I do want to go back and give them a gift, like a basket of apples or something, just to say hello. I might even leave my well, no, I ain't gonna leave my picture, because I'm sure they already know what I look like. But I definitely want to take them some like I said, some apples or something.
That's an idea. That really is. Actually, your picture, that's a great idea. I mean, I'm sure they know what you look like, but that's an experiment. That's a scientific experiment right there.
Yeah, I thought about that. I said, you know what? If I take the apples, I'm gonna put my picture in there with it. So I almost got even deeper by saying I'm gonna take the stuffed animal, a little small stuffed animal, and give it to them.
For the kids.
I thought about that. Give them a little monkey or something. So that might make them mad. I don't know. But if they got a little one, I think that'd be cool. If the little one had a little stuffed animal, I thought that'd be kind of cool.
Probably tear it apart.
You got that right, or you trying to eat it.
Yeah, I just got permission from my wife for my 50th birthday. She's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Permission to go to Oklahoma and hang out with the guys that I interviewed."
That's a hot spot. They say that's a hot spot out there.
Crazy. So I interviewed a few people from Oklahoma, and one of the guys has activity on. He's got 80 acres in Wichita County or something. I don't know. It's in southeast Oklahoma, but he said you can stay in my camper, and we'll go out into the woods, and we'll camp there. And I mean, he's got firepower, so I feel okay about that. But I'm kind of like trepidatious about it. I'm like, God, is this a good idea? But I might make a documentary and document the whole thing and go to the Have you ever heard of the siege of Hanobi? Have you heard of that before?
I heard of it.
Yeah, there's a big festival there, so I want to go down around that time and do a whole documentary on it. I've never seen anything. I've never seen a UFO or a ghost or Bigfoot, but the whole thing just fascinates me. So that's why I started this whole podcast to get to talk to people that have had encounters and stuff, because I find it absolutely fascinating, and I think there is something out there. So when I find credible people like yourself, I like to snap you up and get you on the show, and that's why I reached out to you.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate it. But like I said, I had no idea that I would encounter anything in my life, because people say, "Oh yeah, Bigfoot's a hoax," and then you have people going out in the woods with gorilla suits. You got them going out in the woods with the big wooden Bigfoot feet on and pouncing around trying to scare people. And I was like, you know what? I'm too old to be acting dumb, childish, and trying to trick people and trying to put a fake video up just to try to make $5. Because, like I said, I have my own heat and air company. I make my own money. I don't need YouTube money.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, okay, I'm telling what I tell people, or should I say what I told in my story, that's exactly what happened. And like I said, I know some people might think I'm way off the grid. They think, oh, you need to be committed. But most likely, those are the kind of people that stay on the couch and play video games, or they're not hunters, and they don't go outside and experience nature.
Exactly.
But see, like I said, I've been deep in the woods for, like I said, ever since I was a child. So I've heard things that's ordinary, and as of 1999, that's when things started to change.
Well, when you go back there, and I'll be looking out for your videos, and let us know what else happens. I'll be keeping an eye out on the Apple thing. Post a video on it, and let us know what happens.
Okay, I might take my GoPro and just video my ride all the way back there and releasing the apples and come back. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video on that. What I might do with that one, I might send that out to individuals privately, because like I said, my wife, she threatened me don't you go back there no more. So like I said, if I do this Apple thing, and I'm gonna do a whole lot of praying about that. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but if God released me to do it, I think I'm just gonna do it one time, and I'm gonna be done with it.
I'd love to see that.
Yes, I don't want to keep going back, because when God give you a chance to get out of there, I don't want to keep testing God. Because I've heard of rogue Bigfoots, I've heard of Bigfoots that the juveniles, I heard some juveniles want to test the waters, and they really want to be aggressive, and I don't want to go back there and get in trouble.
Well,
I definitely don't want to start shooting.
Well, it could have been that's why those things are roaring. Maybe a rogue Bigfoot wanted to take you out, and the other ones were like, no, leave him alone. That could have been the conversation. Who knows?
It could have been. It could have been. I don't know. But I really believe the big alpha male came in and checked on me. And I don't think he sized me up. But I think he just said, okay. I think it was more curious than anything.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how close they actually been to me before. They might have been within 10 feet of me, and I didn't even know it. Because I heard they can walk, and you don't even know they're there.
Yeah, they're stealthy as hell from what I've heard.
Yeah, I heard that too. But I don't know. But like I said, getting to what you had said earlier, I don't think they were roaring at me. I really don't. Because I think, like I said, I think if they were, I think I might have been missing. I've been on a missing report.
Yeah,
possibly.
411.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, John, I really appreciate you coming on the show and telling your story. It was great to have you. Very interesting.
Yes, sir. Good to be here.
And let me know if anything else happens and stay in touch.
I sure will. I appreciate your time.
Okay, well, John, thank you very much.
All right, you take care.
All right, God bless.
My weapons are these words. The time of the old order crumbles. You and I will inherit the earth. The time calls for changes, and change will save us all. My heart is in revolution. The bleeding has covered and all. Sail away with me, call me, cover me, yeah. Oh, call me, cover me. Time for you to see the world's just poetry, yeah. Oh, sail away with me, call me, cover me, yeah. Oh, call me, cover me. Time for you to see the world's just poetry, yeah. Dressed in my best suit, wooing the ladies, selling them dreams and other fairy tales. The last prophet of a prophet, you're likely to see. Do I recommend you rewrite your history? Sail away with me, call me, cover me, yeah. Oh, call me, cover me. Time for you to see the world's just poetry. a miracle today. Yesterday, oh, a miracle today. I'll be a miracle today. Yeah, I swear.